Hey everybody, it's finally that time here at Creekside Maples. We're going to tap our very first tree for the year. I'm going to put in about probably 10 test buckets to see what happens. It's been really cold. I mean just extremely cold. And so I don't expect any sap to run until next week because it's not supposed to get above freezing tomorrow. Monday, it's supposed to just barely get to -1, and then finally Tuesday, we're going to be above freezing. But I wanted to just go over a little bit of stuff. There's been different people that have wanted to know how we tap trees. Now, I want to say I'm no pro. I don't have all the answers, but I'm just going to show you how we do it and how we've been doing it for years. There's basically, this is a metal or aluminum spile. And it has the hook for the bucket to hook on and the little hole in the top where you put your lid on your bucket. I'll show you how that's done. I also use some of the plastic spiles and I run blue tube off of those. I put those all into one bucket and I'll show you how we do that a little later. But for today, I'm just going to show you what we do with these. Now, this is a huge tree. It is probably 100 years old, close to it, and this is one of our really good producing maple trees here on our property. I tapped this last year, and so I want to make sure first when you do tap a tree from a previous year, don't go back to the same holes, don't go under the same hole or over it. Stagger those holes. It's very important. And you want to go in, people say, well, how deep do you drill? I usually go in about 1.5 inches, especially on these big old trees, because that leaves about 1/2 inch of bark probably before you get to the wood of the tree. So then you go in about 1 inch, and that's really all you need. Now, what you have to understand is red maples have thicker bark than, let's say, a sugar maple. And the older the tree, the thicker the bark. The younger the tree, the thinner the bark. So, you have to figure those things out. But rule of thumb, set your depth at 1.5 inches. I usually put a piece of tape, but I didn't have any tape with me today, so I just put a piece of marking ribbon around it, and that'll let me know when I'm in there far enough. Now, when you're drilling, drill on an upward angle, not real steep, just a slight upward angle. Just kind of gives it a good gravity feed there. I don't tap trees that are smaller than 9-10 inches. If people do, that's fine, that's up to them. But here on our property we have been blessed with huge sugar maple trees, so I really don't need to tap the smaller ones. If I do find one maple tree that's 8-9 inches and it's out where it's getting lots of sun, well, I'll probably throw at least one spile into it and tap it to see what it gives me. So anyhow, on this tree, I'm going to use hanging buckets on this one. So this is big enough that I can put 4 buckets. And so I'm going to start. Now, some things you want to look for is, okay, which way is the sun going to hit this? So the sun rises on our property over here, that's east, and sets over there, and that's west. So this tree basically is going to get sun from here on this round side here all the way around to here throughout the day. That's going to give me my best sap. That's going to make that tree warmer on that where the sun's hitting it. Another thing I want to notice is look up at your canopy. That's your limbs. Where are the big limbs? So I've got one really big one coming right here. So I'm going to put a spile right there because there's going to be a lot of sap that's coming up and feeding that big limb right there. So if I do that, it's in line with where the sun's going to hit it. So I'm just going to come around here and I'm just going to take my drill. This is a 7/16 drill bit. And I'm just going to, now here's an old tap hole from last year. It's right there in front of me. It's about 2 feet up from the base of the tree. So I'm going to come back about 6 inches from there and up about 6 inches from there. And that's going to be a great place to hang a bucket. So I'm going to drill in. And that's that. Now let your drill bit clean out the hole that you drill. Now today is a really cold day, so I do not anticipate seeing any sap come out of these holes. On a cold day, generally you're not going to see much sap running at all when you first tap. If this was a nice warm sunny day, +5, then there'd be sap coming out of that hole right away. But sometimes what happens is after it does warm up, you still don't have any sap coming out of there, out of your spile, your spigot here. What you want to check is sometimes pieces of wood from the hole that you drilled, that drill dust can get in the hole of the spile and clog it. So if it's warm and the rest of your spiles are running good, but you don't have one that's running, then 10 chances to 1 you've got a piece of wood from the drill bit that's lodged up in the hole there. So just take your hammer, just tap it back out, make sure it's clean, and then tap it back in, and it'll probably solve all your issues. So I drilled that in there to the depth of my ribbon. Now I'm going to take my hammer, and everyone says, how will you know that it's in there all the way? It's simple. You can hear it. You want it nice and snug around the rim of the hole, but you can hear that it changes when you get that in there tight enough into that tree. It literally it sounds then like you're hitting on the wood rather than on the spile. And you'll be able to hear that if you listen for it. And then we're just going to take a bucket, and you just take that bucket, you hang it right on there. Just like that. Then I'm going to get one of my covers. Real easy to use. It's just a piece of wire through there. It just pulls out like that. I don't know if you can see this from there. I'm probably got you too far away. But you can see these ridges. And this here goes right through. This is pre-drilled. Goes right through those. This little place right here, little slot, will fit over the spile, and then this shoves through the hole in the spile. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm just going to put this through. There we go. Your lid up, you shove that under, and then that's that. And so that's our first bucket of the year. So now I'm going to do another one. So now here, this is an old hole from, last year probably. So I'm going to just come back here. Now this is down here. So I'm going to come up here somewheres. I'm going to look up. Have I got lots of limbs and stuff? Well, you know what? Yeah, way up I do is a really big one way up there. So I'm going to take this, and I'm not going to put it the same level as this one. I'm going to come up just a bit, make sure. Yeah, now there's an old hole there from last year. I don't want to be just above it. So I'm going to come up and go to the side of it, one way or the other. So I'm probably going to go right about here, and then I'm just going to drill in. Again. I'm just going to take this, set it in there nice and straight. Just going to tap it in. And there's where the sound, it changed. Okay. So then we take a bucket, hang it on, just like that. Make sure there's no dust on that. And then I just take this, slide it back, put it through, like that. then that's that. And there's that one. So I've got a hole here, and so probably I'll have another one here somewheres. But see, this is the back of the tree, eh? This side here is not going to get any sunlight at all. So I'll probably, where these are test buckets, I'm just going to hang those two there for now, because I want to see what this tree is going to produce for me. But this side of the tree is going to be the coldest, and because we've had such extremely cold temperatures for so long, I'm just going to wait before I put anything else on the back of this tree here, just to kind of see, you know, what these two buckets will do for me over here. And so that's all I do for putting these kind of buckets on trees. Now, when I start doing the tubed buckets with the blue tube, I'll show you that as well. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple, and I normally take a piece of orange ribbon. I don't really need to here because it's right by the sugar shack, but I'll just throw that around there. And I'm just going to tie this off, just like that. And so that lets me know right away, hey, there's a tree with some buckets on it. And that's how we do it. These are the metal spiles I use right here. It goes into the tree like that. The bucket hangs on this hook here. And then the lid attaches through this little hole right here. I hope you can see this stuff. My wife's not down here today. She's suffering with a really bad back, so you know, I just told her to stay up the house. She really can't get around very well, so I'm trying to do this. So I hope it makes sense, and I hope you can see it. I thought I'd just take a moment here. We're going to put some taps into this maple tree here, but I'm going to use the blue tube. So I think I will just put it all together here now and show you guys. I'm sure many of you out there know how to use this stuff, but for those that don't, or you're new at this, I'll just show you how we put ours together, and we use the buckets to collect in. So basically, again, you want to find yourself a good tree, your maple tree. You want to look for your canopy. So we got a nice big limb right here and a Y, so that's going to be a good side there. This whole entire side of the tree gets sun all day long, so we want to utilize that. So we're going to drill a couple holes here. Now you can see on this tree, there's basically a split in it, and both trees have sap, you know, obviously. So we're going to put a tap in this one back here because it gets a lot of sun. So we're going to come back here and probably somewheres, oh, I don't know, right about, you know, right about here, we're going to drill in. And again, it's been so cold, I'm not anticipating, you know, much in the way of sap at all until it warms up. And then I'm going to put just a couple taps in here. And because, see, it's still dry sawdust. Well, there's some sap right there. So that's the first sap I've seen all year. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to drill a couple more. Make sure we got them good and cleaned out. And probably we'll do one more. Now this gets a lot of sun, so I have no hesitation about putting one right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, and one back here is 4. And the good news is every one of them has sap running out of them. So I'm going to try to take you around here to show you. this here is wet, right where I drilled that hole. See? That is the sap of the tree. So that's a good sign. If I come around here, you can see how wet this is right here, where I'm pointing with a stick here. See that? That's sap. You can see it coming out there. So that's good. And the same thing back here. Okay, so this is going to be a really good tree by the looks of it. I like that. So we're going to put, now this one back here is dry. That's the difference. These ones are getting sun, this one isn't. And so that's the difference. We're just going to take, you know, 4 of these spiles. Right here. These are ones you use for the tube. You just tap them in, fit your tube over there. So we're just going to take a couple of these. Now I'm going to set the bucket out here, so I want to angle my tube so that, or my spile, just a little bit pointing in that direction. It just makes it a little easier. Tap it in, and then you know when it's tight just by the sounds of it. And again, this one here. That's nice and tight. And then we'll take this one here. Nice. And I don't know if we're going to get any sap out of this one or not, because that is a dry hole there. So we're just going to wait on this. If it starts seeping, we'll put one in. So now, all I'm going to do is take my tube. Now I'm going to make 3. I have 3 spiles here. My bucket's going to sit here. Now, this stuff is cold. It's cold tubing. It's been in storage. And so I try to warm it up just a bit and then just work it up there on your spile. Now I'm going to come down to this bucket here. It's going to be sitting here. So I'm going to take a Y right here. I'm going to Y this. So this will come here, like so. And then this one will come in here to join it, okay? So we'll just go like this, and you leave this on an angle so it runs pretty good. I try to keep angles on my lines because the more sap that runs through them is better, because you don't want your lines all froze up if you get a cold snap. So there's that. So I'm just going to cut that there. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it up on here. Now again, this is cold tube. If I had the time, I would warm it inside. And then I'm going to take this. I'm just going to line it up. That looks pretty good. Just like that. Just push that on there. Okay, and this. Somewhere's around there. Like that. Then I'll take this one. And we'll just shove it on here. Again, it's cold today, so the tube's a little bit hard to deal with. There. Now, this piece of tube will come on here and go down to my bucket. So now, because I've got this one, we've got to come over one more time. So now this Try to warm it up a bit. And we'll put that up on there. Just like that. Okay. So now what we want to do is join this and this all together. See? So, we're just going to take another Y. And basically, that's going to come here, here, and then this will go down to the bucket. Okay. So we want a little short piece in the middle. So just grab yourself just a little short piece. Just put it on there, like so. And then I'm going to put this on here like so. Step over here. This is going to go here, just like that. There's that. And then this. We want it to come into here. So let's just cut it here, like so. I'm just breathing on them a bit, trying to warm that plastic up just a little bit. There's that. And there's a little bit of stuff in my bucket from working around there. So I'm just going to clean that all out. There's that. I'm going to set my bucket. I drilled a hole that matches the diameter of my hose in my bucket, in my lid. So now, I don't have to worry about snow melt, so I can cut the tube to the exact length I want it. But if we had a lot of snow on the ground, if you're going to do it this method, then you're going to want to leave extra tube, because as the snow melts and settles down, so too will your bucket, and you don't want your tube pulling out of your bucket because it's too short once the snow's melted. So we just take some of this tube, put it on, and we want it down in the bucket pretty good. Then we're just going to cut it like that. And once again, I got a little bit of stuff there in that bucket. I'm going to put my lid, and you can put the hole out, or it doesn't matter, however you want your bucket. There's that. Then you just slide that in there, just like that. And there you've got a good setup for sap. We already have sap running. It's running here, it's running here, and it's running from that one back there. And that will give us a good bunch of sap. Okay, so there basically is how that's set up, right down into the bucket. And that will flow, and it will fill that bucket. Once the sap really starts to running, it will fill that bucket probably twice a day at least. But you can see we've got it there, Y there, and Y there, and that way we can hook up 3 or 4 different spiles at a time into one bucket, which makes collection just so much easier. All right, folks, so that there is how I put the buckets on and tap the trees and stuff. Again, I did not anticipate any sap flowing today. It's been so bitterly cold. My hands are cold just being out here barehanded like this. But I wanted to show you kind of, how we do it. If you're new to tapping trees, hopefully that helps you out a little bit. If you have any questions, any comments, go ahead and ask. Leave them in the comment section there, and we'll do our best to answer them on the next video. So we're going to go tap a few more. Thanks for watching so much here today. Hopefully this helps you out. You find it interesting. We do appreciate everyone that watches our channel here at Creekside Maples Homestead. Everybody, the new subscribers, everyone that comments, we appreciate it so much. So you all have a great day, and we'll see you right back here. This is old Jade. She wants to come say hello. We'll see you right back here on the next video at Creekside Maples. Take care now. God bless.